You may be seated. Before I start, is the red light on or off? Is that on? We're here for State of Georgia versus Gerald Couch, 2026 SR 3093. Since the last hearing we had, there was an accusation filed on April 24th, charging 4 alternative counts of driving under the influence, 1 count of failure to maintain lane, 1 count of open container. And as per the scheduling order, Mr. Couch and Mr. Poole, you filed a waiver of arraignment, a plea of not guilty, and a demand for jury trial on April 27th. On May 6th, you filed a motion and limited a motion for a Daubert hearing and a motion to suppress. And we scheduled the hearing for today, and I did ask that you particularize that and can file a brief. And on May 27th, you filed your brief related to the search and seizure issues and a particularized motion related to Daubert. And then on June 3rd, the state filed a brief in response to all 3 of your motions. And then we scheduled the hearing for today, and then prior to the hearing, we've agreed as to which of the issues we will move forward on. The other issues will be reserved. They will not be waived. So the 5 issues that we're here today to determine. First, the entry of the officers onto Mr. Couch's property. Second issue will be the delay between the initial detention and the commencement of the Georgia State Patrol investigation. There will be voluntariness of any standardized field sobriety administration. The 4th will be the search of any vehicle following Mr. Couch's arrest. And then the 5th issue will be timing and reading of implied consent and his consent to chemical testing. So I'm going to let the state's attorneys introduce themselves for the record and confirm whether or not that is what they're prepared for today.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jason Samuels, Prosecuting Attorney's Counsel, Assistant Solicitor General Pro Tem, here as conflict prosecutor. And yes, Your Honor, that is the state's understanding of the issues to be addressed today.
Gilbert Crosby, also with Prosecuting Attorney's Counsel, here as Assistant Solicitor General Pro Tempore, and
Okay.
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm Paul here on behalf of Sheriff Couch.
And does that match the issues that you're prepared to address today?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to invoke the rule of sequestration. So if there, except for any witness that you intend to testify first, I would have you let your witnesses know they'll be under that rule.
And Judge, I'm just going to note.
Just make sure you pull that mic close to you.
Apologize, sir. I just want to let you know, I have, I know your staff attorney is trying remotely. I have says I have joined and I have not been admitted yet.
Off the record briefly, I'm looking for Mr. Shoemaker.
I don't know if that's it.
Where is Mr. We're off the record? Where is Mr. Shoemaker? And I appreciate we have I'm not familiar with this courtroom. I appreciate that when we have a technical issue that we're not recording that.
Your Honor, while we're waiting, if I may, I do have a deputy head under subpoena as well, and I know the court's overruled. I would join that record to overrule and ask that deputy head step off the court.
All right, Deputy.
Yes, okay. He was going to be our first witness call. Yes, we
And he may remain in court.
assuming we're going to start with that.
There's nothing prior to that. Nothing prior to that.
Just testing to
in good shape that I can go back on the record. We resume. We'll go back on the record. You may go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. State would call Chief Deputy Kevin Head.
You will remain standing, sir. Up here, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter pending before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you may have a seat. And for the convenience of court, if you could just do a quick test with that microphone.
Testing.
You may go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Would you please introduce yourself to the court?
Yes, I'm Kevin Head. I'm the Chief Deputy of the Hawk County Sheriff's Office. I've been with Hawk County since 1987. Worked my way up to Assistant Commander up in 2012. I left to help start up the Hawk County Misdemeanor Probation in 2012. 2013, Sheriff Couch asked me to come back as a major in his command staff. In 2016, he made me his chief deputy. I've got a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from North Georgia College and a master's degree from Columbus State.
Thank you, sir.
What was, I didn't hear where his other master's degree was.
Columbus State.
Columbus.
And,
Recording in progress.
sir, would you please spell your name for the court reporter?
Kevinhead.
And I think you covered it in your introduction, but if you'd let us know, how are you employed now? What's your job?
I'm the chief deputy.
All right. How long have you been in that position?
About a decade, since 2016.
I believe you mentioned in your introduction again that you've been in law enforcement for some time. When was your first job in law enforcement?
1987, I started here in the Hawk County Sheriff's Office as a patrol officer.
And you said a patrol.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Are you post-certified?
Yes, sir.
When did you graduate from a police academy?
Late 98, 87 or 88, I can't remember right off. It's been a while.
And again, I believe you testified that you were with the Hawk County Sheriff's Office from 1987 through 2012.
Yes, sir.
Right. And then you took a break from the Hawk County SO. Where'd you go?
Hawk County Misdemeanor Probation was developed. Came over and helped start that up.
Right. What were your duties at the Hawk County Misdemeanor Probation?
I oversaw the day-to-day operations, the probation officers. I helped develop the policies on doing alcohol testing. We dealt with a lot of DUI and misdemeanor charges. That was what we dealt with, the probation side of it.
And you returned to the Hawk County Sheriff's Office in what year?
2013.
And you came back to Chief Deputy, right?
No, sir. I came back as a major
Okay.
for Sheriff Couch. Then he asked me to come back.
And you've been Chief Deputy for how long?
10 years, since 2016.
Okay. So describe exactly what is your role, what are the duties of the Chief Deputy?
Typically handle the day-to-day operations of the Sheriff's Office, deal with a lot of any lawsuits we have, policies, you name it, handle a lot of just the day-to-day events that occur. A lot of personnel issues.
As a Chief Deputy, where do you fall on the chain of command of the Hawk County Sheriff's Office?
I'm basically the sheriff's right-hand man.
All right. And do you see the sheriff in court today?
Yes, sir, I do.
If you'd please identify and let us know something this morning.
He's the gentleman there next to Mr. Poole in the blue suit with light blue tie.
The record could reflect he has identified the defendant. Now, as the Chief Deputy, who do you report to?
The sheriff.
Who has authority over you?
The sheriff.
Now, over the course of your time in law enforcement, have you had training in the area of DUI detection and DUI enforcement?
Yes, sir. It's been a while, but yes, I have.
Okay. And over the course of your career as a patrol deputy and in law enforcement, have you actually conducted DUI investigations?
Yes, sir. Also, I did a lot of home visits for treatment services. We would go to the drug court, health court, and DUI court. I did that for 10, 15, maybe 20 years, a long time. We would do home visits as extra duty in the evening. Probably did that. Probably did at least five actually checks a week during that time frame. So have a lot of interaction with that.
And again, over the course of your time in law enforcement, if you had occasion to encounter people that you knew to be under the influence of alcohol,
Yes, sir.
you had an opportunity to observe their manifestations,
Yes, sir.
their speech,
Yes, sir.
their odor.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to call your attention to the month of February this year, February 2026.
Yes, sir.
Specifically, February the 26th of this year,
Yes, sir.
did you receive information that caused you concern about the well-being of the sheriff?
I did.
What was it?
On Thursday, February 26th, I got a call from a very good friend of the sheriff, Steve Siphon. It was around 3 in the afternoon, roughly. Said that he'd gone out to check on the sheriff, that when he got there, didn't look like the sheriff had eaten or drank anything in a while, and was rather unresponsive. And he was concerned he didn't smell alcohol on him.
So you said did or did not?
Did not
Okay.
smell alcohol on him.
What was the nature of Mr. Siphon's concern? Did he express that to you?
Projection and speculation.
Vice President, did Mr. Siphon express the nature of his concern?
Sheriff had not been at work most of that week, and he was concerned about his well-being, wanted to go and check on him.
Okay. Did you give Mr. Siphon any advice as to what action to take?
Objection, relevance.
Again, this is part of the narrative of the interaction, Your Honor. We believe that what happened in the conversation is relevant.
What this deputy told an individual third party on the phone has no bearing on motion to suppress before the court. I mean, what this witness told someone else, that's not really party to the motion, or the evidence of the motion is not relevant outside the scope of this hearing.
No rules allowed, you may continue.
Yes, sir. After having that conversation with Mr. Siphon, I said, advised him he probably need to call an ambulance, come out and check the sheriff to make sure he was okay. Mr. Siphon asked me to call him, said he wasn't really sure of the address and just really didn't know the process. So I called the non-emergency number and requested an ambulance to come out to check on the sheriff to his house.
And to your knowledge, did an ambulance arrive or was the sheriff transported to a medical facility?
I got a call later, maybe 2 or 3 hours later, from Mr. Siphon. He said that he was at the emergency room with the sheriff. The sheriff had a blood alcohol of 0.37.
Objection, hearsay, that's evidence.
Mr. Crosby?
Your Honor,
Well, I'm sorry.
that's fine, Your Honor. I was following along. Your Honor, this is a motion hearing for the purposes of, hearsay has been ruled to be admissible on the case of any sex offender. Berkeley State 376 Georgia 14 has held that statements that might not normally be admissible at a trial are admissible at a hearing for the purpose of understanding why a party proceeded.
Okay. And I understand and agree with that statement of the law. This is double hearsay, number one. The second prong of the objection was best evidence rule to get into, again, some sort of speculation or contents of a test that's not before the court. That's outside the scope of this hearing. And I respectfully object to anyone other than counsel that's engaged in line of questioning, directed witness to handle objections on this particular witness.
And that's my fault, Mr. We'll elect this call on Mr. Crosby as you call on Mr. Samuels.
No big deal, Your Honor. Thank you for your question.
All right, we'll understate you've heard that the evidence rules that apply in a trial don't apply in motion hearings, and I don't find anything inappropriate about the question or what you were asking, or that the best evidence rule would even apply. So all those objections are overruled. You may continue, Mr. Samuels.
Just to make sure that I got the answer right, did you receive another call from Mr. Siphon while he was at the hospital?
I think it's just that one call. Basically, he said that he was there and had.
Well, I'm trying to go back to that call.
Yeah, to that call. The sheriff was being somewhat uncooperative and was from point 37.
All right. And again, that's .37.
Yeah, point 37. Yes, sir.
At that point, what happened?
I didn't hear anything else that evening. The following morning, early in the morning, it's before 8, I got a call from a concerned citizen who's actually the sheriff's niece, Terry. She called me. She was very upset and said Uncle Gerald was out drinking and driving in his county vehicle last night and asked me for some help. I told Terry that wasn't possible. He was at the hospital, point 37. He couldn't have been out drinking and driving. He said, oh, yes, he was. His friend had brought him home sometime around 10-ish, a little after, a little before, that she had went down while he was at the hospital and had poured out all his alcohol, and that he had left in his county vehicle and went to the convenience store on Cool Springs Road where he usually buys his alcohol. When he came back, that he missed the driveway in his county vehicle and had to maneuver around to get into his driveway. And she was very upset where he was going to hurt someone.
If I can, just to make sure the record is clear. We've heard testimony on Mr. Steve Siphon.
Yes, sir.
Do you know Mr. Siphon personally?
I do.
How long have you known him?
Not that long. He's a really good friend of the sheriff's. We've become loose friends here, basically trying to help the sheriff out.
You know the spelling of his name?
Sevysyfan, I believe.
Okay. And the second person we've discussed, Denise Terry.
Yes.
How long, do you know, is she personally known to you?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you known her?
A couple of years. I usually talk to her on the phone. She lives basically right kind of across from the sheriff's house, diagonally.
And her last name?
I believe it's Comfrey. I always know her as Terry.
All right.
I don't ever call her by her last name.
Can you have him, at least to the extent he said a name, try to spell the name that he said?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm sorry. If you could give us your best effort.
I'm not really sure, but I believe it's like Comprei, possibly. I don't, again, honestly, I only know her as Terry.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. After that phone call, did you take any action?
Yes, sir. I was very concerned. Was planning to go up to see the sheriff. Had actually gotten another call that morning from Mr. Siphon. He advised he had talked to the sheriff sometime that morning and had told him he was not in any shape to be driving. And my understanding that he was letting him know I was going to be coming up to visit him that morning. Went to the office, got with Captain Alexander, and we're going to go up there and actually do a welfare check on the sheriff, and I was going to take his county vehicle from him.
Captain Alexander is also an employee of the Hawk County Sheriff's Department.
Yes, sir.
What is his role?
He's over the quartermaster.
And just so we're clear, the quartermaster is responsible for issuing equipment, maintaining the serviceability of that equipment for the sheriff.
Yes, sir, he is.
So he would be responsible for the vehicle fleet that...
He's over that. We have actually a lieutenant who mainly handles that part, but also Captain Alexander's a friend of the sheriff's, as am I.
Okay. How long have you known Captain Alexander?
So probably 38 years.
Okay.
About as long as I've known the sheriff.
Okay. And in the discussion with Captain Alexander, I think you testified that you were going to perform a welfare check on the sheriff at his home.
Yes, sir.
And you were going to secure his county car. You were going to take his car?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what was the reason for trying to secure that car?
He was drinking and driving in it, sir, and that's unacceptable.
Okay. Did you and Captain Alexander go to the sheriff's house?
Yes, sir. We were in my unmarked vehicle heading to his residence, and actually had turned on the Green Hill Circle, which I believe is off Chestatee, not too far from the sheriff's house, and Captain Alexander said, hey, notice this car in front of us was driving erratically. It would cross from the yellow sideline, and it crossed the white line several times. I noticed it as well, and we both observed that this vehicle was driving in a erratic fashion.
Now, again, if I can, number one, you were driving a county-issued police car, is that right?
It's a pickup truck that's unmarked, and it also does not have any emergency equipment in it.
It does not?
It's one of our staff vehicles.
Does it have blue lights?
No.
Does it have a siren?
No.
Well, you said it was unmarked.
Yes, sir.
All right. Is there any way to effectuate or make a traffic stop without that equipment in that car?
No, sir.
Okay. I believe you testified you were on Green Hill Circle, is that right?
Yeah, Green Hill Road, I believe is what it's called.
Okay. And describe again the car you got behind. What did you see it do?
It crossed the center line. It almost ran off the road several times. It was weaved back and forth in between the lanes, and I realized it was a black Tahoe, and I realized it was a Premier Tahoe. And when we got to the stop sign at Green Hill and Ledan Extension, realized that was probably the sheriff's vehicle.
Now, on Green Hill, how many lanes of travel going in each direction?
It's a relatively small two-lane road.
Two-lane road. Is it divided, though, into clearly marked lanes?
It
for
is.
traffic?
It's very clearly marked.
All right. Again, I believe you testified. Did the vehicle fully cross the center line?
It did.
All right. So you said you made a turn.
Yes, we got to Green Hill Circle. The vehicle turned left toward Sheriff Couch's house. Since that's where we're going, turned that way as well. Captain Alexander got some video of the vehicle actually on the Ledan Extension, and followed the sheriff to his house and down his driveway.
Okay. So when the vehicle got to the driveway, what did it do?
It turned in, and we just followed down.
And at some point before that time, did you realize who you were behind?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What happened next, sir?
Followed him down to his driveway, got out of our vehicle. Sheriff got out of his car. He dropped his phone. He dropped his keys. I was 5 feet away from him. I could smell alcohol on him. And basically I said, you're drinking and driving in the county vehicle. And he's like, I'm good. And no, you're not. You promised me you would not drink and drive in the county vehicle. And I told you if you were drinking and driving the county vehicle, I would have you arrested. And he was unsteady on his feet, had to lean against his pickup truck, which was parked next to it. He had two personal vehicles there of his, and he was unfortunately obviously under the influence.
I believe you testified that you could smell the odor of alcohol?
Yes,
How far?
5 feet away.
5 feet away?
You could also smell it coming from his county vehicle as well.
Okay. How long have you known the sheriff?
38 years.
Would, at least on February 27th, would you describe yourself as friends?
Oh, yes. I still consider him a friend now.
Yes,
Take
sir.
what he's done.
In addition to your work association, did you socialize?
Yes, sir.
In the 38 years that you've known him, have you seen him in conditions of sobriety?
I have.
Have you encountered him at times when you knew him to be under the influence of alcohol?
I have.
Are you familiar with his particular mannerisms, manifestations when he's under the influence of alcohol?
Most definitely.
When you encountered him at the end of his driveway, were you able to and saw the things that you saw? Did you form an opinion about whether or not he was under the influence of alcohol?
He was.
Did you form an opinion about whether he was under the influence of alcohol to the extent he was less safe to drive a car?
Definitely.
And what was that opinion?
He was under the influence, so the way he'd been driving, how he was unsteady on his feet, dropping everything, the conversation I had with him, yes.
Is the sheriff's residence in Hall County?
It is.
Driveways in Hall County?
Yes, sir.
So where you encountered him at the end of his driveway, that's in Hall County?
It is.
And from the time you got behind his car and followed him into his driveway, did all those events occur in Hall County?
They did.
What happened next?
I told him I was calling dispatch to have the state patrol come out and handle this investigation. They needed to handle it. That he was putting lives at risk. He was dangerous, and they were going to have to come out, and he was going to have to deal with the consequences.
Now, I understand from your testimony earlier that the Hall County Sheriff's Office provides patrol services to Hall County.
Yes, sir. We're what's called a full-service sheriff's office. We handle patrol and investigative functions for unincorporated Hall County, and also we do help out the municipalities as needed.
As part of that patrol service, Hall County Sheriff's Department investigates traffic crimes.
Yes, sir.
Do they investigate DUIs?
They do.
Why was it that you called in another agency to investigate this and does not rely on Hall County personnel?
He's our boss. He's the sheriff. He has the right to fire any of us.
Let me ask you about that. So far as you were aware, did the sheriff have the authority to fire you right at the end of the driveway?
Yes, sir. He did.
Have the same authority over every deputy?
Yes, sir.
Was there any concern in your mind about an appearance of impropriety if the Hall County Sheriff's Department investigated the case?
Yes, sir. He's been my best friend for 20-something years. Sorry, Captain Alexander's been his friend a long time too, so it was wholly inappropriate for anybody from the sheriff's office to handle this investigation.
In your experience as the second in command of the Hall County SO for decades now, is it the common practice to notify an outside agency for assistance where one of your personnel is involved in a potential crime?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that what you did in this case?
It is.
And what agency did you notify?
I called dispatch and asked them to have one of our patrol officer supervisors come out, and also to mainly notify the state patrol that they needed to come out and handle this investigation.
All right. What actions did you take during that time? First of all, how long did it take the Georgia State Patrol to arrive?
I don't know exactly. I would say at least 30 minutes. After I made the call, Sheriff Couch was telling me to cancel them and for them not to come, and he was asking me to stop the response. And I told him that was not going to happen.
And you in fact did not.
I did not.
Again, during that time, you basically held everything static until the state patrol arrived, is that right?
Yes, sir. We basically stood there and talked to him in between his county Tahoe and his personal truck. He actually had to lean on his truck. It's like a maroon Tacoma.
All right. And when the Georgia State Trooper arrived, and you remember who that was?
I don't.
Okay.
It was a sergeant from another post. that
Okay.
came, yes.
Did you turn over the responsibility for the investigation to the state patrol?
Yes, sir.
Okay. One second. One final question, sir, if I can. From a couple things, actually. Number one, just so I'm clear, did you see the sheriff get out of the car?
Yes, sir.
From where did he exit the car?
The driver's side. There was no one else around.
Were there any other occupants inside that car?
No,
that he
sir.
was driving?
No, sir.
From the time that you encountered him when you got out of the car until the time the Georgia State Patrol came, did he leave that area of the driveway?
No, sir, we stayed right there between his Tahoe and his truck and waited for the
Allowed
state
to
patrol.
consume anything?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Poole.
Thanks, Ron. Is it Chief Deputy today?
Chief Deputy Kevin Head.
Do you mind if I call you deputy for the sake of?
That's whatever you like, Mr. Poole.
I'll try to call you.
That's okay.
Deputy, but if it gets too cumbersome, I may call you deputy. What time did you receive, on the morning of the 27th, what time did you receive that phone call? I guess was it from his niece?
It was from Niece's Terry. I believe it was around 7:15, 7:30 in the morning.
Okay, and she expressed a concern about the sheriff driving, is that correct?
That's correct.
And then did I hear you say that you received a phone call from Mr. Siphon that morning as well?
Yes, sir. Sometime after that, he called.
And can you give the court any kind of estimate about that time frame?
Best guess was probably within 30 minutes to an hour, he called.
Okay. So rough estimate, if the initial call was around 7:15, say around 8 a.m. for Mr. Siphon's call?
Around then, I'm not sure exactly.
And then you called Captain Alexander to come meet with you to assist you with picking up the sheriff's vehicle, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you two met at the office, the sheriff's office at roughly 10 a.m., is that fair?
Around then, probably a little earlier. I'd gotten tied up at the office. So, yes, sir.
Okay.
Sometime around there.
And then y'all set out from the sheriff's office to the sheriff's residence and came upon him en route to his residence, right?
That's correct.
And you said that you had some experience and training with DUI investigations and handling DUIs, right?
Yes, sir. It's been a very long time.
But you've got training in field sobriety and in DUI investigations. You conducted traffic stops and DUI arrests in your career, fair?
Back in the 80s. Yes, sir. That was a long time ago.
And do you know if Captain Alexander has similar training and experience with regard to DUIs?
Probably back in the 80s as well.
Okay. And so you two could have conducted the DUI investigation at the residence, but opted not to because of interference of impropriety. Is that fair?
Actually, probably at this point in time, as long as it's been since I've done any, probably would not have been a good idea. Also, the sheriff's a good friend of mine, and he's my boss, so definitely was not going to conduct the DUI investigation.
I understand what those are items I would say are a result of possible perspective of impropriety, right? You don't want to be second guessed because you don't want to be accused of hemming him up or helping him out. You're darned if you do, darned if you don't, right? Because he's a long time for neighbors. Is that fair?
That's fair.
And while it may not have been a best practice to do it because it's been a long period of time since you've done DUIs, you agree you have legally, you have the training to have been able to do that.
It'd be very difficult for me to do that, Mr. Poole, being how long it's had since I've done DUI investigations. I'm not really up on traffic law like I used to be. I hate to say I'm in more in the management phase as opposed to the enforcement phase, and so yes, I would. It'd been very difficult for me to try to do the DUI investigation with Captain Alexander.
But you testified already that you drew the conclusion that Sheriff Couch was DUI to the extent he was less safe.
Yes, sir. It was pretty obvious that he was under the influence.
Okay. And you testified about calls about a trip to the hospital on the 26th and a call and blood alcohol content results. Do you know what time that draw was conducted on the 26th?
I do not.
Okay. So you would agree then that that number really, based on your knowledge, that number doesn't really have any bearing on the 27th because we don't know what time on the 26th that would be conducted.
I know it was sometime after 3 o'clock. Exactly when, I want to say Mr. Siphon had probably called me 2 or 3 hours later. So yeah, anywhere between, 3 and 6 or 7, something like that.
Okay. And so do you agree with that proposition that if the test occurred between 3 and 6, that it doesn't have any bearing on the time frame that you encountered Sheriff Couch?
At this point, I object on relevance. Relevancy is going to be a question for the court, whether that number's wrong or not.
Well, Judge, the court's already ruled that the rules of evidence aren't applicable, and I'm asking a pretty basic question about his training and experience and tests from the day before and lifetime amounts of LVs. And the court's already, it's relevant, and the court's already allowed that data and that information in, so I'm just trying to ask a basic cross question.
And just to be clear, my ruling regarding the rules of evidence were specifically an objection to best evidence and hearsay. But I do agree that I overruled the relevance objection, allowed evidence in that I found could be relevant. And for the same reason, I will overrule that objection. The rules of evidence will still apply.
Okay, understood. And so, do you agree with that?
I think it's very important, especially if you go home from the hospital and then you start drinking again. Yes, sir. I thought that's a very high level. I was worried about my friend. I didn't want him to die.
Sure, and everybody would agree it's important, but the question I asked was, you would agree that that blood alcohol content reading from the day before doesn't have any bearing legally or from a content perspective on when you encountered Sheriff Couch the following day?
It's really part of the reason I was going out there.
Well, you're going out there to get his vehicle, right?
And do a welfare check on my friend.
Okay. And did you put that in the report?
What?
Welfare check that you were going to?
I don't know if it's specifically that I went out to check on him.
Sir?
I believe we definitely went out to check on him. I couldn't remember exactly what's in my report right now. We did go out to check on him.
Okay.
And get his vehicle. Didn't want him to drive anymore.
Okay, and you were going in part to take his vehicle from him that morning as well, right?
Yes, sir.
And as you've already testified, that's a county vehicle essentially owned and operated by Sheriff Couch.
No. It's owned by the Hall County government.
Okay,
And we have no right. We have no right to privacy in our county vehicles.
And Judge, I'd ask that to be true. That's not responsive to the question.
Mr. Samuel,
Also,
shall be granted.
Thank you. And so did anybody from the Hall County government direct you to go obtain that vehicle?
No, sir.
And the white truck that you were in, was that a Hall County government vehicle as well?
It is.
Okay. And unmarked, right?
That is correct.
And approximately where, and what was the road before we began Green Hill Road, is that right?
Green Hill, yeah, leads dead ends into the Dan extension.
Okay. And from Dawsonville Highway to Lee Dan, about what distance did you encounter Sheriff Couch's highway? And I'll say 50%, 25%, 75%?
I didn't encounter his vehicle until we turned on the Green Hill Road.
Okay. But do you recall, after making that turn on the Green Hill, I mean, were you behind the entirety of Green Hill, half of it?
The entirety, but we were a little bit behind him, so.
Okay. And so is that road, I mean, do you know how long that road is?
Not really. We really actually caught up to him probably around the middle of the road. It's not a super long road, maybe a half a mile at the most. It's not a very long road.
You said you caught up to him about the middle of the road?
About halfway roughly. There's like a little turn off. I can't remember the name of it. That's roughly when Captain Alexander noticed that he was, the vehicle was driving erratically.
Okay, I thought you just testified that you were immediately behind him as soon as you.
There was no other vehicles in between us, but we were not like right behind him at that point.
Okay. But you saw him turn onto Green Hill.
I didn't notice him, but there was no other vehicles between them.
Okay, so the first time you noticed him now is about halfway up Green Hill.
Yes, sir, it's about halfway down Green Hill Road, we actually noticed the vehicle.
And then followed behind him from there to his residence down the driveway.
That is correct.
And your estimate was that Green Hill was about half a mile, is that right?
A mile, I would say at the most, it's a very short road.
And so roughly half a mile, y'all were behind him on Green Hill, is that fair?
Roughly, yes, sir.
And then when you turn left on the lead in, roughly how long?
I think it's less than a mile to the sheriff's house.
Okay.
He lives down off to the right.
And would the characterization that y'all followed him for a few minutes be roughly accurate?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when you turn into the sheriff's residence, and you've been there several times before.
Many times.
You would agree you can't see the residence from leaving?
No, you cannot. His house sits off the road pretty good ways.
And sits on 50 acres, right?
Yes, sir. It's their family property.
And the driveway is a little over 800 feet long, is that fair?
I believe that's pretty close, a long driveway.
And it twists and turns, and it's got a little kind of a little bit of terrain and a little up and down in the hill.
Yeah, it's not straight.
And even after you turn into the driveway, you still can't see the residence for quite some time until you get fairly close to that front yard area. Is that
Then once you kind of top the hill, you can see it, but yeah, it sits off the roadway a good ways.
okay? And y'all followed Gerald Couch up to the side of his residence, right?
Yeah, we put into his driveway, he parked like right next to his garage, which was
Okay.
closed.
And the front door is well to the right where you pull in behind the sheriff, right?
Yes, sir.
And there's a sidewalk over there on the right.
There is.
Goes to the front door. Y'all didn't use that or go in that direction?
No, we never, like I say, we stayed right there between his vehicle and his personal truck.
And you, when you called dispatch, did you call from within your vehicle, outside of your vehicle?
I was standing outside the vehicle, just right there in the area where we were
Okay.
talking to him.
And so as soon as you get out, you're calling dispatch before anything else happens, is that correct?
No, we get out and talk to him for a short amount of time and see him drop his phone, drop his money, unsteady on his feet. Then I call shortly after that.
Okay, and so what time do you believe how long were you on the sheriff's property prior to calling dispatch?
Maybe 5 minutes at the most. I couldn't tell you right offhand.
And so you're there behind him, pull in, stop and talk to him for a few minutes, and then call dispatch.
Yes, sir.
All off by his garage of his house.
I'd say roughly it's 5 to 6 feet from his garage.
Okay. And you called dispatch and requested GSP's assistance for a DUI investigation, correct?
Yes, sir.
And do you agree that call was at 11:18 a.m.?
That sounds about right.
Okay. And do you recall what time GSP arrived?
It was at least 30 minutes. I couldn't tell you, but it was at least 30 minutes.
Okay. Would 11:59 a.m. sound correct, or do you have any?
Yes, sir. That would sound correct.
Okay. And so, in the interim, when you called dispatch, at that point, the sheriff's under arrest, fair?
Yes, sir. He was not free to leave at that point.
And you told him at that point, in that initial conversation, you told him, and you didn't, after calling dispatch, you didn't have any further interaction with the sheriff directly one-on-one, is that fair?
We still talked just a little bit, but I'll be honest, I was rather upset.
Sure.
So, yes.
Sure.
I think actually Captain Alexander had more of interaction than I did, so.
And during that first few minutes prior to calling dispatch, Captain Alexander was with you, the three of you were standing together, right?
Yes, sir.
And at that point, you told the sheriff he was under arrest, he's going to jail.
Yes, sir. I basically said, you promised me you wouldn't drink and drive. You are drinking and driving. put lives at risk. I'm calling it in. You're going to deal with the consequences.
Okay. And so you've called, and this is not intended to be insulting, you've called and gotten numerous arrest warrants throughout your career, correct? When I say call, you've gotten in touch with magistrates or judges in the past.
Not in a long time.
Well, would you say you've done that hundreds of times in your career?
If not more, yes, sir.
Maybe thousands.
Probably thousands.
And how long does that process typically take?
I haven't done it so long, I couldn't tell you. They've changed they have online stuff and that I'm not involved with, so I really couldn't tell you. It would be very difficult for me to try to do that.
And back when you used to get them on a regular basis, how long would it take you to get one?
You had to go in person, meet the judge. Depending on if you had to wait or not, it might take a minute. So it's been a long time since I've gotten a warrant for anybody.
Can you give us any estimate, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes?
I'd say more, an hour, if not more. Again, it's been so long.
Would you agree the new system, the electronic system, has sped things up? Based on your
If it works, yes, sir.
Okay. And you didn't make any attempt at any point on the 27th, February 27th, to get a warrant or anything of the like, correct?
No, sir. He's my friend. He's my boss. So no.
And have you viewed the video recording that Captain Alexander took on his phone?
Yes, sir.
And do you recall what y'all were saying or doing during that time?
Just that's obviously the sheriff, and he's obviously got a problem, and that was it.
Okay. And who is it that says that in the audio? Is it you saying?
There's no audio in that.
Okay.
It's just us talking at that point.
There's no audio in what?
There's no audio in the little brief video that
Okay.
that
Do you know
Captain
how
Alexander.
that would be?
I don't know. I didn't take the video.
Okay. And was it taken on Captain Alexander's county issue phone?
It was a cell phone. I don't know if it's his county phone, his personal. I have no clue.
Do you know what type of phone he carries?
I know he's having some problems with it. I don't know. I don't know.
So when you viewed it, there was no audio?
There was no audio.
And after GSP arrived, did you remain on scene?
Yes, sir. I stayed up. You know, the sheriff's has a little hill that goes down his house. I was, away up there by some of the other vehicles that showed.
Okay. And do you recall roughly how long GSP was on scene with the sheriff?
I don't know.
Do you recall at one point telling the sheriff to just immediately upon calling dispatch, stand still and lean against his truck?
He was leaning against his truck. We didn't have to tell him to.
Okay, so you didn't make that statement to him?
Maybe at some point in time later on, but during the call, he was already leaning against his truck.
Do you recall telling Sheriff Couch that he couldn't use his restroom?
Yes, sir.
And this would have been about 40 minutes into this interaction, is that fair?
Waiting for the state patrol to get there. He wanted to go into his house and use the restroom. I was not going to let that happen. He has weapons in there. Could be alcohol in there. So I was not, he needed to stay out there with everybody else. We wouldn't let anybody else go inside to their house either in the same circumstances.
Yeah, Chris Lynch, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
And Your Honor, may I move freely about the well recording?
You may now.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm handing you a document, if I may, just to see if it refreshes your recollection. Once you've read that highlight portion, if you will, just look up at me silently, and then I'll ask a couple of follow-up questions.
What do you need? I'm sorry.
Hold on.
I need you to go back to the mic.
I've handed you that document to see if it will refresh your recollection. If it does, that's fine. If it doesn't, that's fine. But once you've read the highlighted portion, if you would just silently look back at it.
Yeah, this is 302, Chief Deputy. Yeah, don't walk away, stay there, lean against the truck. Yeah, I need GSP to come to 4477, Ledan Road Extensions, reference to DUI.
Okay.
And the Couch, Sheriff Couch already been leaning against the vehicle. I may have told him to lean back against it.
Okay. And again, this is after you already told me he was under arrest and he can go to jail anyways, because you told him that prior to calling dispatch, correct?
Yes, sir.
And when you told him he was under arrest, what was he under arrest for at that point?
Drinking and driving under the influence, failure to maintain lane.
Okay. Have you ever arrested anybody for failure to maintain lane before?
Not in a long time.
But you have made an arrest for failure to maintain lane?
I would assume so in my 39 years.
And have you ever arrested anybody on their property without a warrant?
I'm sure I have. Again, it's been a really long time since I've been in the field.
Okay. So is it fair to say you don't recall anything like that specifically?
No, I do not.
Okay. And did you all, I say you all, did you and/or Captain Alexander take Sheriff Couch's residence keys and car keys from him at some point?
I didn't. I think someone did, but it was not me.
Okay. But someone did during this interaction?
Yeah, he was wanting to make sure he had gotten some money for his brother from the credit union. He was wanting us to make sure he got it so he could pay for some care for his mother.
Okay. And so do you know who it is that retrieved those keys from the sheriff?
I'm not sure. It's probably I think it was Captain Alexander. I'm not positive.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
And while y'all waited for 40, 45 minutes on GSP to arrive, how close were you to the sheriff during that?
Not very close. After I had once the our patrol officers arrived, I kind of stepped back.
Okay.
Again, I was very upset about all this.
What was the last part?
I was very upset about all this.
But did you have eyes on the sheriff the whole time?
Probably not the entire time.
Okay. What would be your best guess or your best estimate for the court about during that duration of time, how much time you did have eyes on him?
I was kind of on the hill. I may not have been looking at him. I couldn't tell you. Maybe half the time. I don't know.
Okay. And you made a police report in this particular case, right?
Yes, sir.
Just what I'll call sort of a one-page narrative, not on a traditional
Yes.
form. Is that fair?
That's fair.
And you referenced coming to talk to the sheriff about a complaint that you received to take his county vehicle on the 27th. Does that
Yes.
sound correct?
That's correct.
And the complaint being about driving the day before?
The complaint from his niece that he was drinking and driving in his county vehicle.
Okay, so they're to address a complaint of criminal conduct. Fair?
That and to check on his welfare.
Okay. And to take his county vehicle.
Yes, sir. I was going to leave with his county vehicle.
And given, as you've testified, given the sheriff was your boss at that point in time, and the county didn't direct you to do that, you would agree you didn't have legal authority to do that at that point, correct?
I would say I did. The sheriff hired me to tell him what he needs to know, not what he wants to know. And yes, sir, I would say he gave me that authority. If I saw something was not happening, it was incorrect, That's what he wanted me to do.
Okay. And so just by virtue of hiring you and you being his chief deputy, that's the legal authority that you testify to now that you have to seize that vehicle?
I was going to take that vehicle. I was not going to let him hurt anybody or himself.
Okay.
I was
And-
going to leave with that vehicle.
Understood. And you did in fact do that, right?
Yes, sir, Captain Alexander left with me.
And you said the vehicle smelled of alcohol. When did you discover that during this interaction?
When it got close to the vehicle, I mean, about 5 feet away, you could smell it. You could smell it in the vehicle. You could smell it on him.
And so when he gets out of his vehicle in his driveway, you close the door behind him?
I believe it was standing open, at least at some point in time. You could
Okay.
smell it. And actually, I think he told me he'd spilled alcohol in the vehicle as well.
Okay. And so the driver door was left open during this interaction?
Best I can recall, it was at least open part of the time.
It was at least open for part of the time?
I just don't remember.
Okay. Do you recall opening the door and looking in the vehicle or smelling the vehicle?
I never went into the vehicle, sir.
Well, how do you know it smelled?
I could get close. I was close enough, and we were especially talking to him right in between his car and the truck. You could smell it.
Where he was standing?
Where we both standing, yes, sir, right in that area, all three of us.
Okay. And you testified that the sheriff smelled of alcohol?
Yes, sir.
You agree the video that Captain Alexander obtained that day of sheriff's driving actually doesn't show any driving violations?
Yes, when I saw it, I didn't see any specific violations on that, but he didn't start it till we were past, actually on that extension almost to his driveway.
Okay. And do you recall any other details about y'all's conversation in the car as you were following the sheriff into his driveway?
No, sir.
Did you, prior to pulling in the sheriff's driveway, did you ever call dispatch to report the poor driving or what you believe to be someone driving under the influence?
No, sir, I didn't.
I'm going to hand you what I will mark as Defendant's Exhibit 1. If you will take a moment and look at that.
Yes, sir.
Does that appear to be, or what does that image appear to be to you?
That appears to be Sheriff Couch's residence and driveway and in his mother's house.
Okay. Does it appear to be a fair and accurate overhead image of
Yes, sir.
that property?
Yes, sir, it does.
Defendant moved to tender and that was Defendant's 1.
Crosby,
No objection.
D1 is admitted.
I know we talked about the length of the driveway. Does that image from Q-Public, does that have measurements taken of the driveway there?
Possibly. I'm
See a
not.
red line?
I see a red line, but I don't know what that means.
Fair enough. But in your prior testimony?
It's a long driveway.
Over 800, a little over 800 feet?
That, I would say that's very, very reasonable. That is 800 feet.
Okay. May I publish, Your Honor?
You may.
defendants 2 and 3, if you will, just take a moment and look at those as well.
Yes, sir.
Can you make those images out?
Not exactly. I believe that's the Ledan extension, this one, which is number 2, and this other one, Green Hill Road? Yes, sir.
And does that appear to be, are these images taken from Q Public as far as you can tell?
Yes, sir. They appear to be active.
Depending on who the tenor is, defendants 2 and 3.
Cross it.
No objection. That's right. No objection.
D2 and 3 are admitted?
Now, publish on that.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's fine. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave it all here if needed, and then at the end, I'll get to the court reporters and I'll give anything a copy.
No more questions for this time.
Mr. Samuels?
Yes, very briefly. Sir, I'd like to circle back a couple things. From the time you first encountered the sheriff at the end of his driveway until the time Georgia State Patrol arrived, did you see him go back into the vehicle?
No, sir. He never went back in the vehicle.
There was some testimony that he asked to go inside the home, use the facilities. Have you ever been in his home?
Many times.
Did you know for a fact that there had been weapons there before?
Yes, sir.
Was that a concern?
Yes, sir.
You also know that typically there is alcohol stored in that home.
Yes, sir.
Is that also a concern?
Yes, sir.
And is that why you directed him not return?
Yes, sir. He didn't need to go in the house. He needed to stay there.
And if I can just to clarify the terms, did you personally place the sheriff under arrest for DUI?
Yeah, we detained him. It's like, you're not going anywhere. You are.
Did you say the words or something to the effect, you, sir, are under arrest for driving illegal? Or did you leave that to the trooper?
We left that for the trooper, that particular verbiage.
All right. Did you handcuff the sheriff?
No, sir.
Other than holding him, did you place him in a secure vehicle, a backseat of a patrol car?
No, sir.
Again, did you tell him, sir, you're under arrest?
I don't know if we ever use those exact words, but very, very similar. You're going to drive, and you're going to deal with the consequences.
Not free to go,
He wasn't free to go.
but who actually made the physical arrest in this case?
The trooper.
Okay,
But yeah, he was definitely not free to go.
okay. Thank you.
Just a brief pause, if I may.
Yes, sir.
And Chief Deputy, you previously testified, I mean, for all practical purposes, you told the sheriff he was under arrest, he's going to jail that day.
Basically, yes, sir.
Okay. And as far as being able to use the restroom some 45 minutes later, I know you testified about concerns about alcohol consumption and weapons, things of that nature, but at this point in time, there were, what, 5 all-county vehicles on scene?
Yeah, there was numerous people there.
And so clearly, a deputy or even multiple deputies could have escorted the sheriff to use the restroom or anything of the like. Is that fair?
Could have. We wouldn't let anybody else do that. I was not going to let him go back into the house.
And because we don't let people that are under arrest just roam around and do whatever they want.
There was, like I say, there was alcohol in there, and I don't know if he had any stored in his bathroom or not. Don't know how. This wasn't going to take that chance.
And you were going to treat the sheriff, when he's under arrest, you're going to treat him just like every other citizen all the time?
Not quite. Again, he wasn't in handcuffs. He was able to stand around and talk to us.
Okay.
He actually hugged me during part of this. So, yeah, I wouldn't let other people do that.
Okay. Even though he was under arrest, and you wouldn't let other people under arrest and all kind of necessarily do that unless you were close friends or something?
That is correct.
No more questions.
Before we call the next witness, do you want this witness to be excused or to remain under subpoena?
We'd like to remain, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay? So Chief Deputy Head, you are under subpoena, and as you already are aware, you're under the rule of sequestration.
Yes, sir.
All right, you are free to exit the courtroom.
Thank you.
Before we call the next witness, can I just talk to the two of you about scheduling?
We can approach.
Yes. We'll take approximately a 5-minute break, and we'll reconvene when all the attorneys are back in the courtroom, so we'll be in recess. Thank you.
Too long to get in. Stand up your way. I'm gonna have to push it in. Nope. If you want, we can carry it there and put it in the closet down there. Not right here. No one can see it.
came in here.
my side presence. All right. Have a seat. I think it was so much work for texting.
Are y'all good to go?
Oh, yes, sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Remain seated and come to order.
All right, you may call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. State Calls Captain Alexander. Judge Victoria, and sir, if you please remain standing with us.
All right. You swear affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter pending before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
That's right.
All right, you may have a seat.
Good morning, sir.
One,
If you please introduce yourself to the court and spell your name to the court reporter.
my name is James Kerry Alexander. Middle name is spelled Kerry. I'm a captain with the Hall County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you been a law enforcement officer?
The first time, 27 years. This time, not quite 2 years.
What agencies have you been employed with
Hall County Sheriff's Office
the entire time?
the entire time.
All right. Are you post-certified?
Yes, sir.
Were you post-certified in February of this year?
Yes, sir.
If you could just give us a rundown of your resume since joining the Hall County SO. What duties have you been assigned to, sir?
I first joined in 1985. I was assigned to the Patrol Division. I worked in Patrol Division about 6 years. I went to detectives. I was a detective in either sex crimes, persons crimes, and then I was on gang task force for several years, and then I was promoted to sergeant, came back and was admin sergeant, detective sergeant for the last 6 years.
Then at some point you had a break of service with the Hall County SO.
Yes, sir.
What happened there?
I retired in 2012, went to work for a company that sells law enforcement supplies, and when I was leaving, I stayed there 12 years, and when I was leaving that company, I was asked to come back to the Sheriff's Department.
Who asked you to come back to the service?
Sheriff Couch.
Now, during your time in patrol and other assignments with the Hall County SO, have you ever had occasion to investigate traffic crimes?
Yes, sir.
You ever investigated suspected DUI drivers?
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with the typical manifestations, symptoms of an impaired driver?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In February of this year, were you employed as a captain with the Hall County Sheriff's?
Yes, sir.
What was your specific responsibility?
I captain of the Quartermaster Division and the Property and Evidence Division.
So what are the responsibilities of the captain of the quartermaster?
We buy the equipment for the Sheriff's Department. We issue the equipment for the Sheriff's Department. And with Property and Evidence, I just oversee the room and ensure that it's following policy and up to date.
All right. Now, as a captain, if you can, give us an idea of where you fall in the chain of command of the Hall County Sheriff.
You have Sheriff Couch, Chief Deputy Head, my Major Sean McCusker, and then myself.
What I'd like to do is take you back to the end of February, specifically February the 27th of this year. You recall that date, sir?
Yes, sir.
And on that date, you become involved in a concern about the sheriff.
Yes, sir.
Describe the nature of that, please.
I received a phone call from Chief Deputy Head that morning that he had received information about Sheriff Couch, and he advised that we needed to go pick up Sheriff Couch's county-issued vehicle and return it down to the quartermaster's office. and to also check on Sheriff Couch.
Check on his well-being?
Yes, sir.
All right. Why was it important to secure that vehicle?
The information the chief deputy had received was that Sheriff Couch had been driving the vehicle while intoxicated the night before.
Taking part in that endeavor, is that consistent with your role as quartermaster of the Hall County Sheriff?
Yes, sir, just as generally as a captain with the Sheriff's Department.
Okay. Did you and Chief Deputy Head then follow through on that plan?
Yes, sir.
All right. Can you tell us about that?
I met him, well, I went to meet him at the law enforcement center around 10 a.m. We got a late start, probably left around 10:30. And as we were traveling towards Sheriff Couch's house, we turned on to Green Hill Road off Chestatee Road. There was a black SUV in front of us that I saw weaving through the roadway, crossing the center line, hitting the fog line and crossing it. And I remarked to Chief Head, I said, that guy's not driving too well. And Chief Head looked at the car and he goes, what's the sheriff's tag number? And I says, I don't remember. And he said, well, that's a Tahoe Premier and that's what he drives. As we approached the end of Green Hill Road, there's a stop sign. As that guy's not driving too well. And Chief Head looked at the car and he goes, what's the sheriff's tag number? And I says, I don't remember. And he said, well, that's a Tahoe Premier and that's what he drives. As we approached the end of Green Hill Road, there's a stop sign. As that guy's not driving too well. And Chief Head looked at the car and he goes, what's the sheriff's tag number? And I says, I don't remember. And he said, well, that's a Tahoe Premier and that's what he drives. As we approached the end of Green Hill Road, there's a stop sign. As
parse these things out a little bit. Your initial testimony was Chief Deputy had arrested Gerald Couch, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then after the prosecutor sort of opined on it and gave a statement for a question, you changed your answer to, well, he was just detained, it was really the trooper that made the arrest. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so why the change?
I-
In your sworn testimony.
It was a mistake on my part to say arrest. Chief had told him that if he ever caught him driving, he was going to jail.
Okay. Do you recall speaking with the trooper that day?
I'm sorry?
Do you recall speaking with the trooper that day?
Yes, sir.
You recall telling the trooper that Chief Deputy had placed Sheriff Couch under arrest?
I don't know if I said those words or not, so.
Do you recall telling the trooper that Chief Deputy had told Sheriff Couch that he was going to jail?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that would have been prior to calling dispatch, correct?
I'm sorry.
That conversation occurred between where Chief Deputy had placed Sheriff Couch under arrest. That was prior to him calling dispatch, correct?
He told him he was going to jail prior to calling dispatch, yes, sir.
But your sworn testimony now, here and now, is that Chief Deputy Head didn't place him under arrest, correct?
No, sir, that was probably a mistake in my phrasing on that part, sir.
And you never told anybody that before today either, correct?
No, sir.
Okay. So if Chief Deputy Head testified he's the one that arrested the Sheriff Couch, he would be mistaken as well, correct?
I'm sorry, speak up, please, Mr. Poe.
If Chief Deputy Head testified that he was in fact the officer that arrested Sheriff Couch, he would also be mistaken, is that correct?
I don't know what Chief Deputy had testified to, so.
I'm not asking you to opine about what he testified to, I'm asking you a hypothetical. If that were his testimony, would you then say he was mistaken?
No, sir, if that's what he said he did, that may have been something I didn't hear.
Okay.
But I'm just telling you that he said he was told Sheriff Couch he was going to jail, so.
Okay, so if he testified that, he would know better than you do, is that fair?
Yes, sir.
And you wouldn't have any reason to doubt Chief Deputy Head's testimony this morning, correct?
No, sir.
Objection.
You withdrawing your objection?
Well, he's answered the question, Your Honor, so.
Continue.
You wrote a report in this matter, correct, Captain Alexander?
Yes, sir.
And you wrote that on March 5th, is that correct?
Yeah, I think so, yes, sir.
Okay, why the delay of a little over a week for that matter?
That would have been my fault.
I retract that, it's less than a week.
Hold on. You gotta be really careful with a court reporter that you don't talk over the witness.
Yes, sir.
So we'll start over.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna strike that whole question so the court reporter doesn't have to try to put that together.
Understood, Your Honor. And no objection, I'll withdraw the question as well. You wrote your report on March 5th, is that correct?
Yes, sir, I think that was the day.
And that was roughly 6 days after the incident.
Yes, sir, there it was.
Why the delay in writing your report?
It was the weekend, the follow, there were 2 days, and I think I don't really know. I don't know why. It was probably started and stopped. We had a lot going on in the meantime, so.
And did you discuss report writing with any other deputies or officers prior to writing the report?
No, sir.
Did you have any conversation after the incident on the 27th, any conversation with officers or attorneys or anything of the like about the contents of your report?
Maybe Chief Ted, but no, sir.
Okay, what was the context of that conversation?
I don't remember. I just said maybe. I'm sure we had a lot of conversations after that incident, so.
Okay, and so maybe you talked to Chief Deputy Head about the contents of your report in the sheriff's arrest, but you don't recall any detail?
No, sir.
Okay. And if that occurred, you would agree, obviously, that happened after the incident, before you wrote the report on March 5th?
I'm sorry.
If that conversation occurred, you would agree that that would have happened after the incident on February 27th, but prior to your written report on March 5th?
Possibly, yes, sir.
Okay. And you recall making a recorded video of Sheriff Couch driving on that particular day?
Yes, sir.
And do you recall what you and Chief Deputy Head were discussing while you were making that video?
We were trying to decide, no, sir, not exactly. I think that at one point in time, Chief Deputy said, I think that's him. And when he turned into his driveway, I'm pretty sure I uttered a curse word, so.
Okay. And have you viewed the video that you created that day?
Yes, sir.
And do you recall whatever audio was on the original video?
I don't know, and that was the whole problem. That phone that I had at the time was literally dying. And I thought I had audio on it, but when I went to download it, there was no audio there, so I don't know if I had mute or my phone was off or the speaker had died. So.
And what type of phone was that at that time?
I'm sorry?
What type of phone was that?
A phone? It was a Android. So.
Okay, was that a county issued phone?
No, that was my personal phone. So.
And you no longer have that phone?
No, sir. It turned into, it just ceased functioning. So.
And so we no longer have the original evidence from that phone, is that correct?
You have a copy of it that I was able to download before the phone died. So.
Okay. And where is the physical phone now?
Probably in a trash can somewhere. I don't know what I did with it. So.
Okay.
It was so bad, literally, I couldn't download to my new phone from it. I pretty much had to start over. So.
Okay. Your personal phone that you used to record on February 27th of this year doesn't have audio, correct?
It didn't have, no, sir.
And you would agree the actual video that we have shows Sheriff Couch staying within his lane. You agree with that?
I'm sorry.
You would agree the video that you took shows Sheriff Couch staying in his lane. It doesn't show him hitting the lines, correct?
No, he did hit the center line and he did cross over to the fog line. He just did not cross over them.
In your video or before?
In the video.
Okay.
If you would watch the video, you'll see him come up and touch the center line, and then as he crosses back over, he gets close to the fog line, or touches the fog line.
Okay. And you've got that video today, the state's got that video, correct?
State's got the video, yes, sir.
Okay. Do you agree that Chief Deputy Head placed Sheriff Couch under arrest prior to calling dispatch, or was that after dispatch?
I stated that Chief Deputy had told Sheriff Couch he was going to jail because he had been driving intoxicated. And that conversation did take place prior to him calling dispatch. So.
And how long were y'all at the Couch residence prior to Chief Deputy Head calling dispatch?
5 minutes, maybe 10, but I don't think it was as long as 10. So.
Okay. And you met with Chief Deputy Head at 10 a.m. at the Sheriff's Office, correct?
Correct.
And then left there at roughly 10:30, is that correct?
Around that time. So.
Or, okay. And so, do you know what time, the best estimate you can give the court, what time you arrived at the Couch residence?
Probably within 15 minutes. It's not that far from the office to his house.
And so, not holding you to a minute, but around, not trying to hold you to a minute precisely, but around 10:45, is that fair?
Probably, yes, sir.
Okay. And would you agree that from the time Chief Deputy Head called dispatch to the time the trooper arrived was about 45 minutes?
I would say 30 to 40.
Okay. Have you reviewed the CAD report in this case?
The CAD report?
Yes, sir.
I don't believe so, no, sir.
Okay. Does a call time of 11:18 a.m. sound correct?
I'm sorry, 11:18 a.m. for who?
Oh, hold on. Both of you are, well, you're talking over every time he answers, but just saying, okay. Which I know that that's probably your, in a court reporter, that makes it difficult.
Understood. I'll do my best.
Sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Would you agree that 11:18 a.m. is the time that Chief Deputy Head called dispatch?
I don't know.
Okay. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to hand you a document, and I've circled a portion of it for you to just take a look at. If you will, just silently take a look at that, and then once you're done, if you will look up at me. Does that refresh your recollection at all about what time that call may have occurred?
It doesn't help me as far as my recollection. I was guessing on the times, as I said, around. But if that's the time dispatch reported, that's the time it was. So.
Understood. How far down Green Hill Road did y'all follow the sheriff?
I'm sorry, say it again, please, sir.
How far down Green Hill Road did y'all follow the sheriff?
We got behind him probably halfway between Chester T and Lee Dan Extension, so that distance. I'm not sure how long Green Hill Road is, to be honest. So.
Okay. Would you say the entire road's about a half a mile long?
Maybe a mile, I would say more. We were behind him for a few minutes before he turned, so, or a
Okay.
couple of minutes before he turned. So
Y'all were behind him for a few minutes before y'all
I
turned
said
in
a
his
couple of
driveway?
minutes. So.
Okay. Y'all were behind the sheriff for a couple of minutes before you turned into his driveway?
Yes, sir, and I'm guessing on that time. So
Understood. And you agree from that road, Lee Dan Extension, you can't see the sheriff's house from the roadway?
no, sir.
His driveway is very long, in excess of 800 feet. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
And it's not until you get a pretty good ways back down that driveway that you can actually see the residence itself, correct?
Correct.
And when y'all followed him in, you pulled over to the left-hand side of the house near the garage, correct?
Correct.
And the front door is over in the center, sort of center right portion of the residence, correct?
Correct.
And there's a sidewalk off to the right-hand side that would take a visitor to that front door, correct?
Correct.
Y'all were not in that general vicinity, y'all were immediately adjacent to the sheriff's garage.
Correct.
Neither you nor Chief Deputy Head ever Mirandized Sheriff Couch, correct?
No, sir.
Don't mean to be difficult, but when you say no, is that correct? No, we did not Mirandize him?
No, sir, we did not Mirandize him.
And you were able to visually identify Sheriff Couch as the driver of the Tahoe at the intersection of Green Hill Road and Lee Dan, correct?
Yes, sir, when he made the left turn.
And then after that is when you initiated taking that video, correct?
Correct.
And that was for the purpose of capturing him failing to maintain his lane.
I'm sorry?
The purpose of the video was to capture the sheriff failing to maintain his lane, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so y'all were engaged in police work at that point when you created that video, correct?
Yes, sir.
But you couldn't conduct a stop because it's an unmarked vehicle with no lights or sirens or anything like that, right?
That's correct.
And so at that point, the interaction, at the time you recognized and visually identified the sheriff and turned on your video, everything transitioned into a failure to maintain lane DUI investigation. Fair?
I'm sorry, say that one more time, please, sir.
At the time you started that policing the video, at the time you started that video, this interaction had converted into an investigation for failure to maintain lane and DUI, correct?
We didn't know about the DUI. What had happened was we had, if you want to say when it started, was when we saw it weaving and realized whose car it was. We did not realize he was intoxicated until we got out with him at his residence.
Understood. So just an investigation into the failure to maintain lane at that point.
Correct.
And Sheriff Couch asked Chief Deputy Head and yourself to sort of stand down multiple times. I say stand down. He said, you don't have to do this, please don't call dispatch, you don't need to call them out here, things of that nature. Is that
That's
fair?
correct.
Would you say probably 3 or 4 times during the interaction?
3 or 4 times when he asked Chief Head not to do this, not to call them, and then one time when he asked me to talk Chief Head out of it, say he'll listen to you, and I just told him I can't do that. So,
And so you would agree, obviously, Sheriff Couch wasn't consenting to troopers coming out and doing this field sobriety, things of that nature, correct?
you say he wasn't consenting?
Correct.
He didn't want them to come, no, sir.
And he had asked to use the restroom probably about 40 minutes into this interaction, and that was denied. Is that fair?
I couldn't tell you how long into the interaction. The patrol officer had arrived, so I would have thought it'd been a little less time than that, but I'm not sure. So.
Okay. Do you agree it was more than 15 minutes, 30 minutes into the interaction that he asked to use the restroom?
That'd be more than 15 minutes, I would agree with that.
And do you have any estimate? I'm sorry, I think you provided this, but what is your best estimate for how long it took the trooper to arrive?
I thought it was about 30 or 40 minutes, but I don't wear a watch and I wasn't keeping track of the time. So.
Okay. And once the trooper arrived, do you agree he spoke with Chief Deputy Head first?
I don't remember who the trooper spoke with first, but I'm pretty sure it was Chief Head. So. Or it would have been Chief Head.
Do you recall Chief Head telling Sheriff Couch to stand still and lean against his vehicle, the truck,
Yes, sir.
and that he was going to jail for a DUI specifically?
Yes, sir. He did tell him he was going to jail. So.
The trooper, and once you came upon Sheriff Couch in the driveway, you testified he got out of his vehicle with a few items in his hands, correct?
Yes, sir.
And when he gets out, he just shut his driver door behind him, or did he leave it open?
Left it open.
Okay. And did you ever do anything with the vehicle, search the vehicle, look in the vehicle, close the door, anything like that?
I looked in the vehicle and was moving stuff around the vehicle. I was just mainly looking for a weapon we may have to remove from the vehicle. As far as completely searching the vehicle, no, sir.
After you looked in the vehicle, did you close the driver door?
I don't remember. I don't think so, but I don't remember.
And eventually, you were handed 2 aluminum cans from the trooper. The trooper purported claimed those to be alcoholic beverage cans, correct?
Yes, sir.
And where are those cans today? Do you know?
Trooper advised he didn't need them for evidence. I simply took a couple of photos with my phone of them, and then I think I put them in Sheriff Couch's trash can.
Okay. And you agree that the liquid within those bags appeared to be sort of sticky, like as if it had been sitting for a while?
I don't know about sticky. I know it was wet because I actually got it on my hands while I was putting it in his trash can. So.
And would you agree that the evidence indicated that those were not used after consumed that particular morning?
I would have no way of making that determination, no, sir.
Did you hear Sheriff Couch say they were not from that morning?
No, I don't remember hearing him say that, but that could have been while I was doing something else. So.
And the sheriff was otherwise forthcoming, honest, providing information. Is that fair?
Pretty much so, yes, sir.
Do you recall the sheriff indicating, after being told he was arrested or going to jail, indicating that he thought his career was over?
There were two separate conversations about that. At one point in time, during my conversation with him, he told me, he said, you know your career's over. He said, Kevin's career's over, and my career's over. And I just told him, if that's the way it is, I'll put my badge on your desk this afternoon. And then another separate conversation was when I had walked back down to stand with him while the trooper spoke with Chief Head. And he told me, he says, became upset and was saying, I'm not like you. He says, I don't have a family and children. This sheriff's job's all I've got, and this means my life is over, or words to that effect. It was concerning, and I tried to talk to him about it, but he wasn't willing to really understand what I was saying at the time. So,
Okay. All that occurred after being told he was going to jail and before the trooper arrived, is that correct?
no. The first conversation took place before the trooper arrived. The second conversation took place after the trooper had completed his investigation, I believe. So.
Understood. And you have knowledge, training, experience in DUI investigations, stops, arrests, things of that nature, correct?
My training is very outdated, but yes, sir. So,
And you've made DUI arrests in the past and done field sobriety, things of that nature, correct?
yes, sir, to some degree. Field sobriety wasn't really a thing when I made my DUI arrest.
And you testified, you made the determination that the sheriff was under the influence, correct?
Yes, sir, I believed him to be under the influence, yes, sir.
And so you would agree you and or Chief Deputy Head could have done the DUI investigation right there, but as you testified, you felt uncomfortable doing it, so you all opted not to, correct?
I don't know that, I know that I'm not qualified to do a DUI investigation with field sobriety and going through all that has to be done now for a DUI arrest. But no, we were not comfortable with doing that ourselves.
But a DUI arrest was made before dispatch was even called, right?
No, sir. I said he was detained before dispatch was called. So,
Okay. And you had Sheriff Couch's keys to his residence and his car that was taken from him, correct?
I'm sorry?
You had Sheriff Couch's keys to his residence and to his car. Those items were taken from him, correct?
I retrieved his keys, and I think I had to go in the house to get his keys. He told me where they were at, so I could secure his house. He had some cash with him that he needed to leave for his brother, and I secured that for him also.
And where within this timeline of events was it that you went into his residence?
After the patrol officer had arrived, after our Hall County patrol officer had arrived, I asked him, I said, is your house locked up? Or was talking to him about his house being secured. He said, no. And I said, do you want me to secure it? He said, yes.
No more questions for Lewis. Thank you.
Mr. Sanders,
Your Honor, to redirect, we would ask this for the jury.
I have one question for this witness.
Yes, Your Honor.
The last set of questions that was asked by Mr. Poole, just so I understand the time frame. You just referenced a conversation between you and Mr. Couch about his residence being secured, and I heard you say it was after the Hall County Sheriff's deputy arrived. Can you kind of place me in time? Because there's a lot that correct, that kind of where the timeline between that happening, the trooper's investigation, and so forth, did you have this conversation?
We arrived, Chief Head called dispatch and asked for some assistance and for a Georgia State Patrol trooper, I believe. Our officers arrived, specifically Deputy Grenda, who came down there and stood with me, and Sheriff Couch. And it was probably, I thought about 30 minutes before the trooper arrived, but during that 30-minute time, and actually Deputy Grendel should have it on his body cam if I've got the timing right, was when I went into his house to retrieve his keys and secure his house. So,
Thank you, that was what I was seeking clarification on. Since I've asked an additional question, Mr. Samuels, is there any redirect at this point?
No, sir.
And since I've asked an additional question, Mr. Poole, any additional cross?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, you are remaining under subpoena and under the rule of sequestration, but you may exit the courtroom.
thank you, sir.
Thank you. Can I have, we're going to go off the record for a second. Mr. Shoemaker, come up here. Just see about it. And I have two as well for you. Yeah. I'm just going to adjust the witness camera because it seems you can come up, Mr. Shoemaker. I just wanted you to be able to adjust the witness camera because it seems to be cutting the witness's head partially off. Of course. And then I wanted to ask Ms. Ridgway if there was any issues with any of the sound so far. Is everything going well? That was it. You can go, once he gets that done.
Proceed with our next witness, Your Honor?
Yeah. I'll go on the record in just a second. All right, we'll go back on the record. Sorry? Yes, well, that's off the record. I don't want you to have to record yourself.
Oh. Thank you. So those are the glasses for some years too.
We're going to go back on the record. You may call your next witness.
That would be Sergeant Hedden and Mr. Samuels.
Sergeant Head. Sergeant, the witness stand is here to your right. You'll step up there and remain standing. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm testimony you're about to give in this matter pending before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
You may have a seat.
Thank you.
All right, sir. If you would please introduce yourself to the court and please spell your name for the court report.
Sergeant Joshua Hedden, and then my name is Joshua. Hedden will be Hedden.
And where are you currently employed?
Georgia Department of Public Safety, Post 37 coming.
All right. And what is your job title?
I'm the sergeant at that post.
All right. And how long have you held the rank of sergeant?
Since 2021,
All right. And how long have you been employed with the Georgia State Patrol?
almost 15 years.
10 years. Do you have any law enforcement experience prior to that?
No, sir.
Okay. During your time with the Georgia State Patrol, have you been continually certified by the Peace Officer Standards and Training Council to be a peace officer in the state of Georgia?
I have.
All right. Have you received any training specifically in the detection and investigation of potentially impaired drivers?
I have.
Okay, can you briefly detail that for us?
So during trooper school, we have to take the standardized field sobriety evaluation course that anybody who's certified in FST has to, and then I also took a ride at Pickens later on in my career.
And for the sake of folks who might not be familiar with the acronyms, what is ARID?
Advanced roadside impairment.
Okay. Have you completed those classes prior to February 27th of this year?
Yes, sir.
And are you currently using that training?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if somebody needed assistance with DUI, you believe you'd be trained, probably trained and have the training experience necessary to assist?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You do not believe that's training has atrophied or anything by, like along the leg between using it?
No, sir.
Okay. In your experiences with Georgia State Patrol, have you assisted other agencies when one of their own, for lack of better phrasing, has come under suspicion?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that a common practice?
Yes, sir. We're agency support.
Okay. So that if any agency in this area, and it could be anything from, like I said, somebody's involved in a minor fender bender or a stoplight to a very serious crime.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And your understanding is that is conventional?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And does the Georgia State Patrol do that as well? If one of your own were to be suspected, so would you call another agency?
No, sir. It's usually a supervisor or a commanding officer that handles it. So.
But you have frequently, you have responded, your understanding is Hall County calls out?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Specifically dealing with Hall County Sheriff's Office?
Yes, sir.
All right. And did you respond to an address on Len Street here in Hall County on February 27th?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How did you come to be aware that your assistance was needed?
On February 27th, 2026, I was contacted by Sergeant First Class Parker, who is the post commander of Post 6 Gainesville, about a possible DUI at the address of 4470 Leedan Extension Road in Hall County. He further advised it was the home of Sheriff Couch.
And were you told at that point that Sheriff Couch was the suspicious?
Yes.
All right. And were you the closest person to respond?
I was the closest supervisor among the two posts.
And was there any particular reason why we want to supervise it?
The command staff felt it was just best that a supervisor, due to the nature of the call, handled the situation.
All right. So the people who were qualified to handle it were cases?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you respond to that location?
I did.
Do you have any idea approximately how long it took you between the time you got the notice of it and the time you pulled into Sheriff Couch's?
Probably 30 minutes or less. I was at a restaurant in Dawson County and immediately left there and went straight to the address.
And what occurred when you initially arrived at that scene?
When I initially arrived at the scene of the Sheriff Couch's residence, I observed several vehicles in the driveway that were law enforcement vehicles. I observed an individual, later identified as Sheriff Couch, leaning up against a burgundy Toyota, also standing with an individual identified as Captain Alexander. And I, stepped from my patrol car and made contact with the on-scene people.
Okay. And the persons you described as Sheriff Couch, that individual in this courtroom today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you please, for the purpose of the record, point to him and identify him by an article of clothing?
Okay. Sheriff Couch is sitting over here next to his attorney wearing a blue sports coat.
Okay. Your Honor, as the record reflects, sorry to have it identified with that. Who was the first person you talked to?
I believe it was Captain, or Chief Deputy Head.
All right. What did Chief Deputy Head relay to you?
That they had, were coming to get the vehicle from Sheriff Couch's residence. As they were driving down the road, they observed a black premium Tahoe in front of them, and as they continued on, they observed that this was possibly the sheriff's vehicle and that it had failed to maintain its lane multiple times, and they continued following it due to not having the proper emergency equipment and vehicle to the sheriff's residence, where they followed the sheriff into the residence and he stepped from the vehicle.
Now, when you first saw Sheriff Couch, was he restrained in any way?
No, sir.
Okay. Just go through, was he in handcuffs?
No, sir.
Did anybody have their hands on him?
No, sir.
How did they appear to you as you saw Sheriff Couch?
Leisurely talking, relaxed.
Did Sheriff Couch display any signs of stress or anything like that?
No, sir.
All right. So after, and was that the same after you talked to Chief Deputy Head?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did anybody tell you the sheriff had been placed under arrest?
No, sir.
Okay. Did the sheriff appear to be under arrest?
No, sir.
Okay. And was your understanding that you were to take over the investigation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And at that point in time, had you made a decision as to whether you were going to arrest Sheriff Couch?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, at this point in time, did you make contact with Sheriff Couch?
I did. Eventually, yes.
Okay. Did anything, just so we're clear on time, did anything occur after you spoke to Chief Deputy Head before you spoke to Sheriff Couch?
As in,
Did you do anything, talk to anybody else, search anything?
no, I spoke to Chief Deputy Head and eventually told Captain Alexander I would be speaking with him eventually, but I wanted to proceed on with my investigation.
Okay. So you told Captain Alexander to pull up to, and then what was the next thing you planned to do?
Speak with Sheriff Couch.
Okay. So at that point, you then approached Sheriff Couch?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And did you notice anything unusual about Sheriff Couch as you went up to make contact with him?
The bloodshot, watery eyes, and there was a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage emitting from his breath.
All right. And did the sheriff, when you spoke to the sheriff, did he respond to you?
He did.
Okay. And did he at any point in time indicate that he wanted, to break off the conversation?
No, sir.
Okay. He answered every question you asked?
Very politely.
Okay. And did he volunteer statement to you?
He did.
Okay. And did you ask the sheriff if he had anything to drink that day?
Did.
Okay. And do you recall his response?
He stated he had.
And did you ask him about what type of beverages?
I did.
What type of beverages did he tell you he drank?
He stated the Locos, and I confirmed that it was the Four Locos.
Okay. Are you familiar with the alcohol beverage called Four Loko?
I've heard of it, not fully familiar with it.
Okay. Not your personal?
No, sir.
Okay. But enough to know that someone tells you they drank Four Loko, you know they consumed an alcoholic beverage?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you ask him if he had anything to drink before that?
I asked him if he had drank the night before.
And do you recall his response?
He stated he had not.
He did not, okay. And do you recall any statement from him about when he consumed the Four Locos beverages?
Yes, I asked him the time, and he stated that approximately 6 o'clock in the morning was the first one.
Okay.
And the second one would have been, or the last would have been, would have been 8 o'clock in the morning.
All right. Did you ask him any other questions about his drinking?
As far as in what?
Just any questions related to him consuming alcohol?
Let me review just real quick to make sure.
If you need to review your report, I noticed you brought it up with you.
I did.
Just so we go through formalities of this on the record, would it refresh your recollection to review your report that you generated?
Yes, sir.
And is that document you have in front of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Take a moment to review your report. When you've had a chance to do that, look up at me, make eye contact with me so I know you've done that. We'll get back to it.
Yes, sir.
You just point that mic. I'm sorry. Have you reviewed your report, sir?
Yes, sir.
Having reviewed it, does it refresh your recollection as to whether there was any further discussion about Sheriff Couch's drinking?
Yeah, I asked him how often he drinks, and he stated he binge drinks.
Okay. Did you ask him to perform any field sobriety evaluations?
I did.
Okay. And do you recall his response?
He stated he would.
Okay. Did you ask him if there was any reason he couldn't do any of the evaluations you're trying to administer?
I did.
Did he have any response for you on that?
He had no head trauma, knee back leg injuries. The only condition.
Sorry, could you repeat it?
I'm sorry. He had no head trauma, knee back leg injuries. The only thing he stated was a heart condition.
All right. And the actual, we're going to address the specifics of the field sobriety evaluations at another time, but just to confirm, what evaluations did you have him perform?
The horizontal gaze and nystagmus evaluation.
Okay. Did you also ask him to submit to a corporal breath evaluation?
I did.
Okay. Do you have was you the one who gave that evaluation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is that an approved device of the preliminary screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were there any other field evaluations other than the horizontal gaze nystagmus and the corporal breath test?
No, sir.
Okay. When you were, and so at the corporal breath test was the last evaluation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so once that happened, you made your decision as to how to proceed further?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And let me ask, have you, in your career as a law enforcement officer, have you encountered intoxicated individuals?
Many times.
Approximately how many DUI investigations have you conducted?
250 plus. And probably.
You understand by investigations, that's whether you've arrested somebody or not.
Excuse me, let me rephrase that.
Okay.
Probably, I'd say, I'm upwards to, 500 to 1,000, somewhere in that ballpark, altogether with everything I've been on and arrested too, so.
And approximately 250 of those you
Or
arrested
more.
individual? Okay. And in addition to DUI, just as a state trooper dealing with folks in the course of business, have you encountered folks under the influence of alcohol?
Yes, sir.
And in your experience as Joshua Hedden, American citizen, have you encountered folks under the influence of alcohol?
I have many times.
Okay. Have you personally ever been under the influence of alcohol?
I have.
Okay. Notice you didn't say many times. Do you know, we've had some folks who are very familiar with Sheriff Couch. Do you know Sheriff Couch at all?
I'm familiar with Sheriff Couch from working at Post 6 as a corporal.
Okay. So, you do not socialize, you've never socialized with him?
No, sir.
Okay, so you're not familiar with him as a private individual?
No, sir.
Did you get enough of an opportunity to observe him to make a decision as to whether or not he was under the influence of alcohol to the extent he was less safe to drive?
I did.
And what was your opinion?
He was less safe to drive.
And what did you do after you formed that opinion?
I asked Sheriff Couch to please turn around and place his hands behind his back where I placed him in handcuffs.
And did you advise him he was being arrested?
I did.
Did you advise him he was being arrested for DUI?
I did.
Okay. How did he deal with that?
He just made some statements of, we don't have to do this, but he was very polite and respectful.
Okay. Did not resist, did not give you any orders, did not try to use his role as sheriff to talk you out of anything?
Never, sir.
He complied with your instructions to put his hands in position to be cuffed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did all of this occur in his driveway?
It did.
Okay. And which was located in Hull County, Georgia?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did you read him the implied consent? Mark?
I did.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's been previously marked as States Exhibit 1. If you will take a look at that. When you have a chance to look at that, can you
Would you like that?
just tell me what it is?
That's a copy of my implied consent card, the whole card.
And is that and as a copy of it, where is the original?
This was the original.
Okay, I'm going to just note for the record, Sergeant Hedden is holding up a green implied consent card. Is that an exact copy?
It is.
Okay, does that contain the exact warning that you read to Sheriff Couch?
It does.
Now, we all know there are 3 warnings on that card. Which warning did you read?
The one for suspects age 21 or over.
All right. Did you read that verbatim?
I did.
Okay. Did Sheriff Couch, was there any discussion about implied consent?
No, I just advised Sheriff Couch, as I do with every individual, that I cannot give no legal advice. I just need a yes or no at the end.
All right. Did Sheriff Couch indicate he understood?
Yes.
Did you, now the question at the end, will you submit to a state administered chemical test of your, what test did you designate?
Blood.
Okay. Did Sheriff Couch respond to you?
He agreed.
Okay. Do you agree?
Yes,
Do you
sir.
recall what he specifically said?
Let me step back over here one more time just to make sure, because I would have put it in here. He agreed with a verbal answer. So
Okay.
that would have been,
All right. What occurred, okay. What's the next thing you did after you placed him under arrest and read him implied consent?
I advised him that I was going to be contacting another trooper, reference the blood draw.
Okay. And just so we're all clear, the last thing you did in your investigation was the portable breath test.
Yes,
correct?
sir.
How long after the portable breath test did you tell him he's under arrest for DUI?
It would have been very short, maybe a minute or two. It was, all my stuff's pretty close together.
Right. And then how long after you said you're under arrest for DUI did you collect your implied consent card with that?
It would have been pretty immediate too.
Okay. There was nothing you felt you needed to do in between those steps?
No, sir.
Okay. Nothing you did do?
Not that I recall.
Okay. Now, when you, was there anything, action done with regarding his vehicle?
We did go to his vehicle, yes.
What happened?
We did go to his county vehicle.
All right. Was there something you were doing with keys?
I did hand the keys to Chief Deputy Head.
And just ask, now, at any point during this time, did you Mirandize Sheriff Couch?
I don't recall doing that.
Okay. For refresh your recollection, review your report.
I did, yes, sir, sorry.
Well, hold on, there's a, we gotta just, it's right. Having reviewed your report, does it refresh your recollection as to whether or not you revised Sheriff Couch's Miranda rights?
I did,
Okay. It does refresh your recollection?
yes, sir.
Okay. Did you read them, and if so, when?
12:26 hours,
Okay. And about how long was that after you arrested him?
5 minutes.
Okay. And did you ask him if he would continue speaking with you?
Yes, sir.
And what was Sheriff Couch's response?
He agreed.
Okay. Now, what happened, what did you do at his vehicle?
At his county vehicle?
At his county vehicle, yes, sir.
Looked inside the vehicle for possible any open containers.
And just so we're clear, that was the vehicle that was pointed out to you, the one he was driving.
Yes, sir.
Did you check, search any of his other vehicles?
No, sir.
Okay. And had any other vehicle, any like his personal vehicles or anything like that, had any of those been identified to you as vehicles that were associated with his conduct that day?
No, sir.
Okay. What did you do as far as checking his county vehicle?
I would have opened the door, looked inside for any possible open containers, bags holding open containers.
And did you find anything?
I did.
What did you find?
I located 2 24-ounce Bahama Mama alcoholic beverages in the second row.
Okay. Now, as someone who one of the few people who went to law school who doesn't drink, that's different for Loco?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So those are not the beverages he identified as having consumed.
Correct.
Was there any contact about, any statements about the Bahama Mamas?
There was alcohol coming out of them, and Sheriff Couch stated they were both older, and I explained to him the law about open containers in the passenger area.
Okay. During this time, was Sheriff Couch still willingly talking to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That does, I'll just, so we don't keep going over this. At any point in time, from the time you Mirandized him to the time you dropped him off to jail and returned to service, did Sheriff Couch ever indicate a desire to stop talking to you?
No, sir.
Did he ever indicate that he wanted to exercise his right to remain silent?
I don't recall any.
Okay. Did he continue to speak with you pretty much until he got dropped off in jail?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when you took him to have a blood draw, are you familiar with that process?
I am.
Okay. And does Georgia State Patrol have its own individuals qualified to draw blood?
We have some, yes.
Okay. And was that one of the people who assisted you?
It was.
Okay. And did you witness the blood drawing procedure?
I stood around the area, yes.
Okay. And is there paperwork that requires the defendant's signature?
There was. Trooper Darcy did have something.
And did Sheriff Couch, from your observation, I'm going to ask you anything Trooper Darcy wrote it, but your observation, Sheriff Couch, did he willingly sign it?
Yes,
Okay. And did he willingly participate in the blood draw?
he did.
Did he do anything that looked to you like he was trying to complicate the procedure?
No, very respectful to the whole thing.
He followed the directions you heard Trooper Darcy give?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And he complied with the instructions, in, like hold your arm like this and
Yes, sir.
do those things? Okay. And at any point in time, at no point in time did Sheriff Couch ever refuse to speak to you or answer a question?
No, sir.
And he did not request the assistance of the attorney?
No, sir.
Okay. I don't believe I have any further questions for Sergeant Henry.
Thank you.
Related to the issues that we've spelled out in this hearing.
And Mr. Poole, would you like a few minutes before we continue with this witness?
I defer to the court of the state, Your Honor.
Would you guys like a few minutes before we continue?
We're ready to report these, right? Yes, that's certainly fine.
Okay.
We can certainly take a break.
We'll take a short 5-minute break. Looks like it's 11:41, so we'll come back at 11:46.
Okay, you got it.
Come right back.
I'll let them.
Okay.
Yes. And that should be the only thing.
on those bottled waters. You don't mind?
I certainly don't.
Place there for participant usage.
That's fine, you may remain seated. Remain, sorry, that's fine.
Of course, permission. I don't believe I formally tendered State's Exhibit 1.
You did not.
And I would like to do so now, if that's all.
Any objection, Mr. Poole?
No, Your Honor.
All right, State's fine.
And it's over there, court needs to.
All right, Mr. Poole.
Good morning, Trooper Head 9, Blake Poole, how are you?
Good, sir.
I'm well, thank you. You got your report before you, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You agree you were dispatched at 11:21 a.m.?
Does your mic turn up just a little bit? By chance, it's hard to hear you over here. I don't know if it's just because the low volume or what, but if you will repeat that question one more time for me.
Let's take a moment, 'cause I think we're off the record. The previous witness seemed to be having some difficulties hearing. Who in here can help me with the mics? Do you know anything about these mics, Ms. Ridgway? Got a control
They're the
panel
same as
over here.
upstairs. I have to control it.
So I'm gonna try to turn this mic up. I'm doing it correctly, so will you test it again?
Can you hear me better now?
That's a little better, yes. If I have any questions, I'll just get you to repeat.
Yes, sir.
All right, hold on. Go back on the record. You may continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. Trooper, do you agree that you were dispatched to the residence, in this case, the Couch residence, at 11:21 a.m.?
Yes, sir. That's what my report says.
Okay. And you were contacted by Trooper Parker, is that correct?
Sergeant First Class Parker.
Okay. And so that would have been obviously after the initial dispatch call, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Would you agree the initial call occurred at 11:18 a.m.?
I'm not sure what time the original call was, sir.
Do you have the CAD before you?
I have my report before me.
If I hand you the CAD, could that help refresh your recollection?
That'll be fine, sir. All right, thank you. You'll give me a minute to review this.
Yes, sir. If you will, just review it silently and then look up at me when you're done. Has your recollection been refreshed about the time that the initial dispatch call occurred?
This is not the normal GSP CAD call that we see, but your circle here is 11:18 for phone pickup.
Okay. Do you have any reason to dispute that time for a dispatch call or any further information you can provide the court about a dispatch call?
No, the only other thing is on the second page, it says 11:19 requesting heat and GSP, so I assume this is the Hall County CAD call system.
Okay. And so, and do you recall the time that you arrived on scene?
I do not recall the exact time that I arrived on the scene, no, sir.
Have you reviewed your dash cam footage in this case?
I have.
I'm handing you defendants 4 and 5.
You need to go, sir. Go.
Do you recognize what's depicted in defendants exhibits 4 and 5?
I recognize 5 better than I do 4. 4 looks like a mailbox, but I can't testify that that's the exact address, but 5, yes, definitely.
Okay, and is there any sort of unique, well, I guess, is defendants 5, what is depicted in defendants 5?
This is Sheriff Couch's residence the day I was pulling in.
Okay. Is it a fair and accurate depiction of a still photograph from your dash cam?
Yes, sir.
Defendant moves to tender to evidence, defendants 5.
No objection, 5.
Defendants 5 is admitted.
Thank you. And then defendants 4, is there a unique identifier on your dash cam, your digital dash cam recording?
As such in what are you looking for?
A file number or a camera number or anything that you could look at any images, whether they're video or photographs, and you could look at those and say, yes, this is taken from my dash cam because of this identifier.
The M500-027328, if it matches this, we don't go off that, but if it matches this, then yes, that would dictate my camera.
Okay. Can you, I apologize, can you review defendants 4 and defendants 5 to confirm whether or not those identifiers match?
They do, sir.
And so now that you know that, would you agree defendants 4 is a still photograph taken from your dash cam as well?
Yes, sir.
And those photographs and any sort of dash cam video have a date and time stamp on those as well, correct?
Yes, sir.
And do the date and time stamps correspond contextually with each other?
Pretty much.
I.e. they're a few seconds apart because one is as you're pulling into the driveway and one is once you're already down the driveway a little ways.
Yes, sir.
The defendant is defendant's 4 a fair and accurate depiction of a still photograph from your dash cam footage.
Yes, sir.
Defendant moves to tender in evidence. Defendant's 4.
No objection for the purpose of the hearing, Your Honor.
All right, 4 and 5 are admitted.
Thank you. And would you agree those indicate that you arrived shortly after 12:59, or correction, 11:59 in some odd seconds? Is that correct?
It says 11:59, 53 seconds.
Okay. And so is that the time that you arrived at the Couch residence that day?
By this photo, yes.
Okay. Would that have been 38 minutes after you were dispatched?
Are you referring to the CAD call system?
Yes, and based on your own report, your report indicates you were dispatched at 11:21, correct?
Yes, sir.
So that'd be 38 minutes before your arrival at 11:59, correct?
Approximately, yes.
And that is a few minutes after, or at least sometime after, the initial call came in to dispatch, correct?
Yes, sir.
May I publish defendants 4 and 5, Your Honor?
Yes, sir. All right, we'll go back on the record.
You arrived on scene and spoke with Chief Deputy Head first, correct?
That's what I recall, sir.
And are you aware that Chief Deputy Head placed Mr. Couch under arrest?
No, sir.
Would that impact you or your investigation if that were the case?
Just the Miranda warning would have been read sooner.
And you would agree for a DUI arrest, implied consent should be read as quickly after arrest as possible, right?
If safe to do so, yes.
You're not aware of any genuine safety threats that occurred that day, correct?
No, sir.
And as you've already testified, Sheriff Couch was cool, calm, collected, cordial, correct?
Yes.
And I think your word was polite.
Yes, sir.
And based on your training, the training teaches you that you're required to read Miranda and imply consent immediately after arrest, right?
No, sir.
Sir?
No, sir.
Okay. You're required to read imply consent immediately after arrest if you want to get a trial.
Are you referring to my arrest that you're talking about, or are you referring to Chief Head's?
Just based on your training, what officers in general are trained to do if somebody's making a DUI investigation.
Okay.
The training that you've received is that upon making an arrest for a DUI, the officer is supposed to read implied consent as quickly after that arrest as safely and practically possible. Agreed?
Correct.
And the same is true for Miranda. It's supposed to be done after arrest prior to any line of questioning, correct?
Yes, sir.
If you want the answers to be admissible or legally obtained. Is that fair?
If they've been placed under arrest, yes.
Okay. And you agree that after you arrested Sheriff Couch, and read him Miranda, you didn't engage any further line of questioning at that point, correct?
Not really, no, there was not much question after that.
Okay, so all the questions and answers you testified about so far this morning, all that was pre-arrest, in your mind, pre-arrest, pre-Miranda, correct?
Correct.
But if you were mistaken, if Chief Deputy Head had arrested Sheriff Couch and had Mirandized him, and you had Mirandized him, and no one else had Mirandized him, those would all be post-arrest, pre-Miranda questions and answers, correct?
If that was the case.
Okay. And you wouldn't, if Chief Deputy had testified that he made the arrest, you wouldn't have any reason to doubt that testimony, correct?
I was not advised he had been placed under arrest, so I cannot testify to that.
Do you recall speaking with Captain Alexander last on this particular date?
I did speak with him.
And do you recall him telling you that Chief Deputy Head had placed Sheriff Couch under arrest?
I don't recall that in our report.
I understand it's not in your report, but do you recall him telling you that?
No, sir.
Do you recall him telling you, him being Captain Alexander, telling you that Chief Deputy Head told Sheriff Couch he was going to jail?
I don't recall that either.
Okay. And you've reviewed your dash cam, correct?
I have.
I'm going to hand you Defendant's Exhibit 6, if you will take a moment and take a look at it.
Yes, sir.
Our copy? Yes, okay.
It looks like it's got a lot of pieces, so take the time you need.
Thank you.
Forever copy, my copy, page numbers are not visible, so I can't follow the references. That's how it's.
I don't discuss that between you and him unless it becomes an issue.
Sure, I can give you as much time as you need.
No, you're good. I think I found where you're, or maybe found some areas where you want to discuss. I'm just reviewing, so.
Okay, and I'm not trying to rush you, but the follow-up question is, do you recognize what this document is?
Yes, so this document is a complete audio transcript of what appears to be my dash cam.
Okay, and is it a certified transcript? Very back.
Yes, it appears to be.
And on your review, and if you need more time to review it, please don't hesitate to let me know, but on your review, does that transcript appear to be a true and accurate transcript of the audio from your dash cam?
From what I can tell, yes, there's a lot of material here, but yes.
Okay. Defense will move to tender evidence, defendant 7, or correction, 6.
Mr. Crosby.
I guess it's just one we stay here without, the purpose of this hearing under the rules for admission of evidence and motion hearings, I believe it will qualify for that purpose.
Okay. For the purpose of this hearing only, it's been admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Then, Trooper, I'll turn your attention to page 43. Or correction, page 44.
Okay.
Starting on line 18, if you will, perhaps read through that down to page 45, line through line 5.
Sergeant Hedden. Okay.
If you'll just read it silently. I'm just trying to see if this will refresh your recollection.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and having now read that, does that bring back any memory or any recall about being told that Chief Deputy Head told Sheriff Couch he was going to jail?
They said he was going to jail, didn't have a choice by the document. So I don't recall that day specifically at that time that being said, but by this document, yes.
Would you like me to play the video?
That's totally fine, sir.
Okay.
Can I ask, are you doing this to refresh recollection? Do you want to play into the courtroom, or are you doing this for him to see it outside the courtroom, basically, to refresh recollection? I mean, are you tendering it as an exhibit?
I'm hoping to tender it as an exhibit, if I may, Your Honor. I mean, I know there's a foundation that needs to be laid and questions asked, but
So first of all, tell me what type of media do you have this on?
this is a digital clip of the trooper's dash cam. This is 26 seconds long.
Yeah, and are you attempting to admit the entirety of the dash cam video that's been referenced?
No, Your Honor, just this particular clip that I intend to play.
So then my question is, for whatever exhibit number you're gonna label this as, where is that media stored so that it can be tendered to the court reporter?
I've got a thumb drive, Your Honor.
And that thumb drive just has the 26-second clip, or does it have other files on it?
It's got other files on it, the majority of which have been tendered, but I can cure any issues with the evidence on the thumb drive, either at the conclusion of the hearing or right now.
If there is a specific file that is this 25 seconds,
I believe 26, Your Honor.
26, and what
Yes,
is
Your
the
Honor.
name of the file that's on that thumb drive?
I've got it saved as Chief told him he was going to jail.
What do you want that thumb drive marked?
Defendants 7, I believe, would be correct chronology.
Are all the other files on there, are they already been tendered or will be tendered?
Well, I can do it a few ways, Your Honor. I can remove everything else and just have that one video clip on there, or at the conclusion of the hearing, I can put all of the evidence, all of the defense's evidence on this thumb drive, or even a second thumb drive.
Thank you for being patient. I'll let you submit it, depending on whether there's an objection on that thumb drive, and if there are files that ultimately end up on that that are not tendered into evidence, either in paper or otherwise, we'll just have you remove them before it's tendered to the court reporter.
Yes, Your Honor, and I'll
You can leave the other files that have been invented on there.
understood. Thank you, Your Honor.
Defendant 7 is the thumb drive.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. You may continue. And then, can I assume that Mr. Crosby has not seen the specific 26-second digital clip you're about to show to the jurors?
Your Honor, that's, if I can respond to that. I have not seen specifically what he has on his computer. I have, of course, watched the video of Sergeant Hedges, so.
Are you going to have any objection?
If I recognize it as accurate, I'll, and more importantly, if Sergeant Hedges recognizes it as accurate, that's going to cover the foundation. I will say, I would object to being received into evidence any files that have not been tendered. There are other ways to provide a 26-second. I know from size of emailing size of files to people is something I have we've had trouble with that for me. So I'm aware of soft abuse, but that can be a 26-second video clip can be.
Between the three of us in this Ridgeway, we will make sure that only the files that have been tendered remain with the court reporter at the end of this hearing. We'll do it at the end of this hearing.
And that would just go to the form of how it gets to the court in terms of foundation. That's going to be an issue for Mr. Bull, Sergeant Head.
Then I'm going to let you show your 26-second clip of the file that you have named to Trooper Hedden, and so that Mr. Crosby can see it also at the same time. And we're not going to play it into the system until they both have a chance to view it.
Yes, Your Honor.
While they're looking at that, you can
May I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
And Sergeant Hedden, I've shown you what I've marked as Defendant 7. Do you recognize that 26-second clip?
I do now, sir.
And is that a fair and accurate, I know it's only a portion of your dash cam footage, but is that a fair and accurate clip from your dash cam?
It is?
And defense will move to tender evidence Defendant 7 at this time.
Mr. Crosby,
No objection, Your Honor.
Defense 7 is submitted.
And do you agree that Captain Alexander informed you that Deputy Chief Head told Sheriff Couch he was going to go to jail, he didn't have a choice?
Yes, sir.
In Your Honor, if it pleases the court, I don't feel compelled to publish it and play it. I'm happy to if that is of any benefit to the court or staff, but otherwise, I assume we can get a copy.
You can just follow with the court report.
Yes, sir. When you searched the vehicle at issue, Sheriff Couch's vehicle, you said you opened the door and looked throughout the vehicle for open containers and located 2 open containers. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall which of the doors that you opened first, or if there were multiple doors?
I would have opened multiple doors just, as a normal procedure that I do.
Okay. And you didn't do this for the purpose of taking a list of items within the car and inventory or anything like that, correct?
No, sir. I was looking for the possibility of open containers inside the vehicle.
Okay. And you are the officer that issued the citations and obtained the arrest warrants in this particular case, correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you have those before you?
The arrest warrants?
Yes, sir. And or the citations?
No, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, Sean, thank you for the question.
Thanks, sir.
Yes, sir.
You cited Gerald Couch for DUI alcohol on that particular date, the 27th, correct?
Yes, sir.
And later on that afternoon, at roughly 3 p.m., you got arrest warrants Gerald Couch for DUI alcohol on that particular date, the 27th, correct?
Yes, sir.
And later on that afternoon, at roughly 3 p.m., you got arrest warrants Gerald Couch for DUI alcohol on that particular date, the 27th, correct?
Yes, sir.
And later on that afternoon, at roughly 3 p.m., you got arrest warrants. Take his vehicle, correct?
That would be correct.
And to confront him about a call they got about him drinking and driving the night before.
I recall them saying they're coming to get his vehicle and do a welfare check. I don't recall the drinking and driving the night before. They did receive a call from a friend, I notated, who advised he had a high BAC level or something at that point. If you let me recall this. So it says right here, after recalling the report, that a friend had spoke to Sheriff Couch earlier that day advising him that he did not need to be driving. And also Chief Deputy Head advised that Sheriff Couch had been at the hospital recently with a high BAC level.
I understand. My question for you is, did they tell you that they were there to confront him about this incident from the day before?
No, they're, best of my recollection, they were there to get the vehicle.
Okay. How long were you on scene at the Couch residence?
Reviewing the report, it says that 12:22, I requested Trooper Darcy for a blood draw. So that would have been, around the time that I was wrapping up the investigation. And it says the blood draw was at 13:21. So we're going to say, we both agree it's near 12 o'clock when I pull in. It was 11:59 some seconds to approximately, say 1300. 13:10, somewhere in there, so maybe an hour 10 or less.
Okay. And you, as soon as you arrested the sheriff, he's then essentially then placed in the car and y'all leave immediately thereafter and go to the fire station for the blood draw. Is that fair?
We leave shortly after, yes, not immediately.
Within 5 minutes?
I don't know the exact time frame.
Can you give any estimate?
I'm gonna say under 15 minutes,
Okay, so perhaps.
approximately. My command had asked, called me during that time.
you'll refer to page 7 of 8 of your report.
Okay.
And would you agree that that's a narrative written by blood drawer?
Trooper Darcy,
Yes.
on the bottom?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and do you agree that he conducted the blood draw at 13:21?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Does that help you at all, give any sort of an estimate for the court about sort of what time you would have left the Couch residence?
Not the exact time, no.
Okay. But that's exactly 2 hours after the dispatch to you, correct?
Just under 2 hours.
Just under 2 hours?
Well,
Does your report say dispatch at 11:21? That was your prior testimony?
Excuse me, you're right. I was going off the other time that you had given me on the CAD call. So that would actually been over 2 hours. But yeah, 11:21 to this, yes, that would be 2 hours exactly.
And the Hall County CAD call, as you just said, that indicates a little over 2 hours, correct?
Not much over.
And your best estimate from the time you read implied consent to the time you left is roughly 15 minutes from the Couch residence.
Like I said, I give or take, you said implied consent, but we still got the vehicle, Miranda, that was at 12:26, so you didn't allow for that time
Vehicle search?
to look in the vehicle. So you said implied consent, which was at 12:20, and the verbal answer was at 12:21. And you said from the time implied consent to the time you left, but you didn't give time for the vehicle.
Isn't that you, in fact, that said implied consent was read at 12:20?
It says in my report that approximately 12:20 hours, I read the Georgia implied consent notice for suspects age 21 or over. At 12:21, he agreed with the verbal answer.
Okay. And then so it's another hour from then until the blood draw?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You took Sheriff Couch's keys from him to give to Chief Deputy Head, is that correct?
Of the county vehicle keys.
Okay. Was his residence key on that same key ring?
I believe there was, but the residence was discussed about being secured.
Okay. This was after arrest?
Yes.
And when you say it was discussed, you took the keys from him, and then somebody asked if his house was locked, he said no, and somebody locked his house. Is that fair?
I think there was an agreement that the Chief Deputy Head and Captain Alexander would lock the residence up and secure it.
You administered the directions for the HGN, right?
I did.
And you would agree it was the third time that you attended HGN that you purported to have completed that test, correct?
It was the third time that, yes, I got completed with it.
Do you agree on that third occasion you didn't re-give the directions at that point?
I don't believe I did.
And in fact, you recall directing him about what he had to do at that point?
Directing him as in,
Telling him to take the test, telling him what to do, stand still, don't go there, don't do these things, things of that nature. Things outside the scope of the standard field sobriety testing instructions.
I don't recall telling him anything outside the standard.
Okay. But we agree you didn't give him instructions for the third attempt at the test, correct?
I'm pretty sure I didn't.
And so any statements you gave at that point, if any, would have been outside of the scope of the instructions, fair?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this point, I'm going to object that this isn't relevant to the issues discussed in the hearing.
Well, it is.
Except as it relates to, I mean, as the timing, when was an arrest made, when was,
Okay, well, let him answer your relevance first, and then you can go into your argument further. Yes, sir.
It is relevant as to whether or not there was consent to conduct a test. That was one of the issues we were dealing with today.
All right, Mr. Crosby, any response?
I don't think the mechanics of the instructions relate to consent.
I could see that they would be potentially relevant, so you may continue. Objection overruled.
Thank you, Your Honor. And you made the decision not to conduct a walk-in turn or a one-legged stand, correct?
Yes, sir.
You didn't get consent to search the vehicle or arrest the sheriff or come on the property or anything like that, agreed?
I was called there as an agency assist.
So no, you didn't get.
No, sir.
No more questions at this time. Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Thank you.
Mr. Crosby.
Just very, very briefly, and I know what happens when people say that. Sorry to hit, just so we're clear. In a normal DUI investigation, you would ask for 3 evaluations, correct?
If they're not properly following and doing what needs to be done to conduct the procedure properly, then yes.
It was your decision not to perform other standardized physical sobriety evaluations beyond the one you testified to do.
Due to the conditions of the driveway, yes.
Okay. And what are the conditions of the driveway?
They were not smooth, they were not level, and they were wet.
Okay. And did Sheriff Couch at any point indicate that he was familiar with the things you do during the DUI investigation?
He did. He said he was a instructor in field sobriety.
And did you explain to him why you weren't going to do those evaluations?
I did.
Okay. Did he take any issue with that, raise any objection? Offer to say he could do them anyway, anything like that?
He stated he had a heart condition, which affects his balance anyways.
All right. I don't have anything further now.
Mr. Poole,
No further questions, Your Honor.
would you like Sergeant Hedden to remain under subpoena?
Like to just remain until we say adjourn for everybody.
So if you're under subpoena, Sergeant Hedden, you're under the rule of sequestration, and when we conclude the evidence, I'll have them notified.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for remaining.
Yes, sir. Mr. Poole, you want me to turn this over to the judge? I've got several of your documents up here I'd like her to see.
Yes. Yes. Before we take a break, let's talk about how much more evidence we have.
I'm just saying, for the sake of the 5 issues that were raised in the email, there does not expect any further evidence. Yes.
Okay.
Just argument, possibility of responding. Same thing.
And have you and your client made a decision whether you'll be presenting any additional evidence?
We won't, Your Honor. We will not be presenting any additional evidence.
So then is it fair to look at all the attorneys that, at least as far as the hearing today, the evidence is now closed?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
So I can now release Sergeant Hedden, Chief Deputy Head, Captain Alexander.
Yes, sir.
All are released.
Thank you.
How long do you want to take a break for lunch before making your arguments?
Anything from the board, and from the board perspective, I mean, going the argument right now is fine with me, but we'll take this.
Well, I think I have to take into account all the court personnel has been so generous with their time, and they deserve some lunch. So why don't we reconvene then at 1:30?
All right.
Okay, be in recess till 1:30.